everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and this is Road Signs, your raw review for the 6th of January 2014. You guys know the drill by now. If you don't see my pretty sexy face, you know I'm not alone. I told you I was going to bring you back old, familiar faces slash voices. So, ladies first, say what's up, hon.
What is up, everybody? I am so glad to collab with you again. It's been forever.
I know, right? Things just keep getting in the way, and we're not going to talk about what those things are. Now, speaking of adding voices to the conversation, somebody that has not successfully been recorded on this channel yet. James, say what's up, buddy.
What's going on, Russell? Hulkamaniacs? The Spear is fucking back, motherfuckers! Spear, I judge. Connection live from the Netherlands, back here with another video that ain't seen you. Please do subscribe to Spaz Phoenix's channel. Go check out our wrestling group, the Wrestling Round. Yeah, it's not exactly original. Creativity is a bit lacking at the like the WWE's creativity. And of course, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to put in 49 likes on my Facebook page and nice subscribers to the channel.
Alright, well, James is cutting out a little bit. Hopefully that hopefully that sorts itself out as we go, because we're not starting again because I'm lazy and I don't know what time it is where you guys are, but it's like almost midnight where I am. We are talking about Raw, the first Raw of 2014, and it is also old school Raw. So before we get into Raw, in general, the whole old school concept, how do you think they pulled it off tonight? James?
I shall say it right now, just to get it out way, the video packages turn a fucking god mark out moment, because I'll be sat in my bedroom with my girlfriend watching the distant turn. Wait, Sarah the Jackhammer to return. The Admiral is fucking back. Old school Raw was fucking brilliant.
Alright, Kara, what did you think?
You know, I've been like one of the biggest Raw critics of the last few weeks. I'm not gonna say that they handled it the best this year, but it could have been a lot better too, so.
Alright, I guess I'm a bit, I'm of the mentality that with the themed Raws, there's going to be a lot of silly stuff. There's going to be a lot of stuff that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, like, you know, young people getting the crap kicked out of them by old people for, like, a feel-good moment and whatever. But I gotta say, a lot of the guys that were here tonight, a lot of the guys that, you know, were the old-school guys are guys that I watched when they were around, so I got to mark out for guys that I haven't seen. You know, I'm going to talk about that as we go through the show, and it's not necessarily the main eventers that I'm talking about. It's the fun guys, it's the mid-carders, it's the ones that were, some of them were jokes and all that sort of thing, but it's still a lot of fun, and you got to take it for what it is, and you can't, I think you guys will agree, you cannot judge a Raw like this on the same scale that you judge a regular Raw, because it's just not a regular Raw.
Well, it's like what you said is, you know, since there's special Raws, obviously, it's not going to be the same as a normal show because, you know, it is a special Raw. There's going to be tomfoolery, guest arrivals, and everything. So, I mean, it's definitely on a different scale. It's a lot better than the previous Raws, though, that we've recently had, so.
Alright, what I will say, and maybe we'll bring James back into the conversation again, this is the best Raw of 2014 so far.
Yeah.
The first one, but there you go.
Well, there was the obvious joke. Okay. Ric Flair came out to open the show. He came out to welcome us to the old school Raw, tell us some of the things that are going to be here tonight. Hey, we're going to have legends. Hey, you know, people are going to be in old jackets. We got the old Titantron and all that sort of thing. All the old school Raw means as far as the presentation is really they didn't bring any of the visual effects. There was no HD screens. There was very little pyro from what I could see. The old school red, white, and blue ropes. You had JBL dressed as Vince McMahon and Michael Cole dressed in one of the old announcers' jackets. He is cut off by Randy Orton doing a typical Randy Orton spiel. You know, we had respect for you once upon a time, but now it's my time. Tonight's all about me. you got to step aside. He starts bitching about the rematch that he has with Cena. Orton turns again on Ric Flair, says, you know, we had our history back in the day with Evolution, etc., etc., etc. I respected you, but honestly, you're one of the most overrated people, and every time you accomplished something, it was because somebody else had your back. Ric Flair comes back to him with sort of a heartfelt, typical Legends promo. You know, Triple H and I picked you back in the day because you were like a diamond in the rough, but you brought this really inexperienced punk attitude that you've never really gotten rid of, and I have to ask you if you're really a man. Orton's about to beat the crap out of Ric Flair, and of course, the whole opening segment is ruined by John Cena bullshit, so I refuse to talk about it anymore. James, you're the resident Cena fan in the conversation, so do you want to take it first?
Right, and before I start talking this, I'm a Cena fan, but intervention which can be backed up by the legendary Smash Phoenix, and who is the owner of the YWC, and who knows this as well. So, Mark Dickerson can suck it, and so can other. Well, there was another one, but I can't fucking remember his name. But anyways, I think the segment was ruined. Just to note that Cena did sort of come out old school with his old jean shorts, but I was expecting Thurgan, but he was the best. The part that made me just laugh my ass off was Cena and Ric Flair dancing. That shit was hilarious. That cracked me up. A good promo from Cena, not one of his best, like the segment he had on the awards championship ceremony thing last year, but which was awesome. Don't even get started on the TLC results of that match because they built that match up to destroy everything. But a great match. Did hear about the show, and I am looking forward to their rematch at Royal Rumble. Here's the thing. Yes, we've seen the match God knows how many times, but if the match breaks and they have great in-ring history, then I don't have really much of an issue with seeing that match again. Sometimes it can be a waste, sometimes it can't be, but again, I look forward to the match quality, so if you know what I mean.
Oh, I agree that the match will be good. I mean, the Orton... I forgive the Orton-Cena match because Orton is one of the few rivals for Cena, along with people like Edge and CM Punk, that have actually made me give a shit about Cena. I just think it's garbage. You have all this history that we were drudging up between Ric Flair and Randy Orton with Evolution and other things that had nothing to do with Cena, and Cena had to get his 2 cents in. But, Kara, you're being pretty quiet. What was your thought on the segment?
I say this first. Viewer discretion is advised. Okay? I'm sorry. Almost every time I talk about John Cena, I go off like on a fucking rage. If anyone would listen to my show, they would fucking hear it. So the segment, I have to admit, it was really fucking good for an opening segment. And you know, it did have its boring points, and considering that Randy Orton can be pretty boring. But the segment was nice and fun, and like you said, Spaz, the segment had nothing to do with John Cena. I think really the bottom line is John Cena came out, and he wanted to get himself back in the spotlight because he's a spotlight whore, and it's the goddamn fucking truth. And I know it's not just because he wants to get a piece of Randy Orton, he just wants to get in that goddamn spotlight because he can't share it with anybody.
And he wants to rub shoulders with Ric Flair because WWE is determined to give him more world titles than Ric Flair.
Oh, by the way, John Cena sucks at dancing. Stop.
Okay, the list of things that John Cena sucks at is longer than my Johnson. But, be that as it may, I don't even have anything else to say about this segment. What we do have is something I didn't get a chance to talk about last year because I wasn't really doing videos last year. We recapped last week Daniel Bryan finally giving in and joining the Wyatt family. And then, as their inaugural match, we have the Usos and Rey Mysterio versus the new Wyatt family, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Daniel Bryan. First of all, Daniel Bryan looks like a fucking janitor. Just saying. Second of all, I love the fact that he's still kept a technical style. He has a much rougher, brawling style to kind of represent, his membership in the Wyatts. During the match, the commentators are talking about how other wrestlers are affected and different people they've spoken to. This is what CM Punk thought about Daniel Bryan joining the Wyatts. This is what Big E Langston thought, and even Rey Mysterio, when he was in the match, he was trying to talk to Daniel Bryan, like, hey man, you don't have to do this. This isn't you. Da da da. It was a little extra thing that they did to show how impactful Daniel Bryan joining the Wyatts was. Ultimately, the match ends because there's a miscommunication between Luke Harper and Daniel Bryan, and the faces do win. Now, before we talk about the entire Daniel Bryan situation, before we talk about anything else we want to talk about in this match specifically, the one thought I had in this match was Bray Wyatt already doesn't wrestle very often. And the only time we get Bray Wyatt in a match is when there's 3 people on the other side of the ring, when we have the 3-on-3 6-man tags. And if now Daniel Bryan is going to take up that role, is the only time we see Bray Wyatt wrestle now going to be when it's a 4-on-4 match? Because I want to see Bray Wyatt himself wrestle more. James.
Okay. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. I apologize for that. Right. I have a mixed feeling on the Yes Man joining the Wyatt family. Yes. Sorry. But I will admit, wrong word. Word. I'm very interested to see where they go with the Mr. Yes Man joining the Wyatt family goes. I'm very interested to see where it goes. I've got a couple of theories. I do think that it could basically be Daniel Bryan joining the Wyatt family to possibly try and get to Bray Wyatt, but I have a couple of other theories which are less longer than your reasons for Cena versus Taker. The match was good. The crowd was chanting for Daniel Bryan. Basically, the impact of him joining Wyatt. I feel sorry for the Latch Man right now. That's all I can say about that.
Oh, Deluxe, man. He'll be fine. He's doing mashups for the WWE. He's doing alright.
Sorry, Alex. But, shout out to Deluxe Man. Guys, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. One of the best. It was a good match. The impact of Daniel Bryan joining the Wyatts was all throughout the entire match. The crowd was just chanting for Daniel Bryan. And in my opinion, this was deliberately by WWE's way, because they cannot stand the fact that Daniel Bryan, and this may surprise the pair of you, but Daniel Bryan has had somewhat more of an impact as a babyface, and when shortly after, not long, well, somewhat after Cena came out, in terms of when he turned babyface, if that makes any sense.
Well, nobody's allowed to be as big as Cena, but I think it's actually kind of cool, and I'm going to throw this to Kara in a second. Another theory that I have is we have the 2 main handicap storylines going on in the WWE right now. One was Daniel Bryan versus the Wyatts, and the other one was CM Punk versus the Shield. And I think in one scenario with CM Punk and the Shield, you have the one that's defeating the 3 because the one has managed to get inside the heads of the 3, cause dissension in the Shield and whatnot. Whereas in the other case, the 3 in the Wyatt family broke Daniel Bryan, to the point where he gave in and joined them. So you've got a situation where the group mentality won, and you've got a situation where the singular person is getting small victories over the group. But Daniel Bryan being in the Wyatts, it'll be interesting. It'll add dynamic to the group as long as he's there. Now, if we see sort of a takeover where he takes over the group from Bray Wyatt, that could be interesting. If we see it where he's just trying to sabotage them from the inside, that could be cool too. If he pulls if he turns on Bray Wyatt, you know, going into the Royal Rumble or going even into something like the Elimination Chamber, it could be cool then. I don't see it lasting a long time, but Kara, what do you think of it in the meantime?
Okay, what do I want to discuss first? Well, the match in itself, it was okay. I think what I found more interesting about the match was definitely the crowd participation, as well as, you know, some of the other stuff going on. I don't know about a lot of people, because I know there's some people that don't like what's going on. But I find it interesting that they are showing how everyone else around him, around Daniel Bryan, is affected by the choice, and I think that's a great thing to do. And I think that'll be a part of kind of Daniel Bryan's character change. And like you, I'm kind of glad that he necessarily didn't change so much of his style. It was just, you know, kind of his dressing and stuff. But I think over time, definitely more of his personality will change, and I am goddamn looking forward to that. And I was fucking happy when he joined the Wyatts while everyone was crying. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. See, this is something that, you know, somebody like John Cena couldn't do when he joined the Nexus, was like actually show weakness, because, you know, then you'd actually have like depth of character, but, you know, that's asking something from John Cena, which just doesn't happen.
If I may comment on or comment the Cena Nexus thing.
Sure.
If you go back a few videos on my YouTube channel, you'll see the video I did on the first launch and his character, where I talk about the Cena Nexus thing, how that, not necessarily a heel turn, but more of a test of his babyface Superman character. You know what I mean? Like Batman had his rogues gallery and stuff like that. It could have been an interesting dynamic. And yes, I'm a comic book freak. And it's a real shame because WWE's what the freaking ball was that storyline? They're scared like the pussies.
Okay. Then we have a bunch of just videos and nonsense and things that are not matches. We get the announcement that Shield is going to be on Piper's Pit tonight. We get the reminder that Punk is going to face Roman Reigns tonight. We get a Batista video package and James loses his mind. And then we get the and then we get the announcement that Batista is entering the Royal Rumble, for those of us that, you know, couldn't have already put that together. We recap. Okay, here's where Kara and I sort of mutually cry, because we're both Sandow fans. We recap Damien Sandow versus the Great Khali from last week.
Oh my god, no.
And then we find out that there's going to be an app vote, because Damien Sandow is going to fight the Great Khali again. And the special guest referee could be Bob Backlund, Arn Anderson, or Sergeant Slaughter. And then we have Kane threatening Brad Maddox, which was just funny, because it's Kane in a suit, and that's all I've got. Big E Langston faced Curtis Axel next, with Ryback on commentary. The match was shit. The commentary was shit. At least Big E Langston won. James, do you have anything to say about this?
Who's talking? Me or Kara?
James, go ahead.
Oh, right, okay. I actually found Ryback on commentary quite funny, actually. Okay, a Jim Ross or a Mark Cole, but still, I think this was the match.
Alright, fair enough. Kara.
Stop that. I still cannot sound correctly. But I will say, it be a tease, for Biggie Langston versus Ryback at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. Could be a monster match if it's booked right. It's not hard for WWE to book mid-card feuds if they're properly. That's all I've got for this.
I would like to see that in theory, but in theory, WWE already has their big monster match for WrestleMania, I think, in Brock Lesnar versus Batista. So you never know. And I don't see Big E Langston having the Intercontinental Championship by then. So I don't know. Kara, anything?
Okay, well, first off, I find Bob Backlund's commentary very hilarious. As far as the match goes, I'm sorry, but I've kind of lost interest in both of the competitors, so I found absolutely no interest in the match. I think they kind of, like, dropped their momentum. Even when Big E, he's, your Intercontinental Champion, I think he's definitely dropped his momentum, in my opinion, so I was not interested at all.
Unfortunately, I think Big E Langston has awesome matches depending on who he's with. Like, you put him with somebody like Sandow, you put him with somebody like Ziggler, you put him with somebody like a Dean Ambrose, that's the greatest example I can think of at the moment, and he has a great match when he's got somebody else good to bounce off of. When the person he's bouncing off of is Curtis Axel, who is about as exciting as watching gray paint dry, I can't. I got nothing. I feel bad for the guy. I do, because as much as I'm not a really fan of, like, the big power wrestler guys, there's a couple guys recently, obviously Roman Reigns being one, obviously Big E Langston being one, that's sort of changing my mind on that, but keep putting him with people that can make him look great, and he will. But if you put him with people that can't be that other side of the coin for him, so to speak, then it doesn't really work, and unfortunately tonight it didn't. And on top of that, Ryback should never, ever have a microphone. Ever. Ever?
Ever.
Did I mention ever? We needed the Miz out there. It's like, you gave Ryback a microphone? Really? Really?
WWE have really dropped. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
I think WWE have really dropped the ball with Ryback because, okay, not everybody has to be a Kurt Angle or a Lesnar and another wrestler which I won't reference, but think back to Kurt Angle versus who at WrestleMania 17, if you know what I mean. But for a powerhouse, he is not that bad in the ring, and his promos are not the best, but good. I'm just glad that WWE is actually going to actually make some changes to Ryback and actually build his momentum back up. So
yeah, they could try to change Ryback, but come on, they paired him with Paul Heyman, who couldn't even help him. Ryback can't get any help, because he's a bitch.
He's a bitch. Like, they had him endorsed by Cena. They had him in feuds with every big name they could imagine, including CM Punk. They had Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece for a while, and he still fails to make me give a shit. I'm so, like, the test pattern is over. Go back to NXT. Speaking of NXT, we have our boys, The Shield, on Piper's Pit in a segment that started with who gave this old man a microphone. Rowdy Piper gives props to CM Punk and his mic work. Rollins comes out with the idea that Dean Ambrose is a better U.S. champion than Roddy Piper was. Piper stirs the pot the same way that CM Punk has been doing. Says there's cracks showing up in the Shield, which leads the audience to start a crack chant. And anybody from my neck of the woods around Toronto, Canada, you think crack, you think Rob Ford. But in this case, you hear crack, you think I had to. In this case, you hear crack, and you think of the Shield. They are about to attack Rowdy Piper. There we go. My brain did not fall out of my head, I promise. And Rowdy Piper is saved by not only CM Punk, but the fucking New Age Outlaws. Kara, respond.
I literally freaked out. I'm like one of the big New Age Outlaws fans, and the segment was boring, but when they came out, I was like, oh my god! like, no offense, I'm a big Shield fan too, but you can't go wrong with the New Age Outlaws, okay?
Yeah. I was bummed because at this point I thought that was going to be their only appearance of the night. And I was like, if that's the only time they're going to be on the show, I'm pissed. But then later on, was later on. James?
Oh, everybody in the YWC knows how much I am mad on Roman Reigns and the Big Shield fan. Roman Reigns, and this will come as a surprise, but Roman Reigns has the greatest spear since Goldberg and Batista. And I have to say, this segment was fucking brilliant. And especially the line that came out of Reigns' mouth against Rowdy Roddy Piper. That shit was like, oh my god.
Oh, when Piper was
Reigns
talking
just
down
gonna
to...
get pushed to the fucking moon.
When Piper was talking down to the Shield and he just went over to Roman Reigns and pinched his cheek, I'm like, you're gonna die. You are going to die. But the whole setup was great. I mean, obviously it led to, later on in the night, the main event being Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. But it's always good to see Piper, and it's always good to see Piper when people try to intimidate him and he just sits there and laughs.
I just love how whenever Piper comes here,
Oh,
whether it's
also-
intentional or not, he always pisses someone off and something goes down, and I love it.
Him face-to-face with Dean Ambrose on the microphone, I thought that was going to go longer, and I would hope it did. But I think we cut James off. What were you going to say, James?
Marked out for the D-Generation X. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
Erection City.
Nice.
Not that kind, but basically a nerdgasm. Awesome.
There we
That
go.
is actually a word.
Alright, so we have a replay of Brock Lesnar's return from last week, his attack on Mark Henry. We think we're going to get Lesnar right then, but we have another match instead.
Wait, go-
We have Sin Cara versus Alberto Del Rio. Again. We have the mood lighting. Again. We have the better Sin Cara, which is good. We have a decent match. We have a match that ends really before it should have, in my opinion. I thought the match ended really quickly with Alberto Del Rio's kind of little, like, mini sweet chin music kick that he does. But it's because he needs to get on the microphone and announce that he's going to be in the Rumble and start shit-talking Batista. Kara, thoughts?
Dare.
Okay.
Mr. Del Rio. That he's fucking
First off,
see
get
you
Del Rio
now.
out of here. Get Del Rio out of here. I don't care about this match. I am glad that we actually have a good Sin Cara. I love Hunico. But
Wrestler.
this match, I am so fucking tired of seeing this goddamn match. I can't say anything good about it because I've seen it about 1,000 times. There, James, you can speak.
James, apparently you're allowed to speak now.
The match was great, but it did end rather quickly. The video package regarding Mark Henry and Lesnar. Lesnar spearing Mark Henry through the barricade. That shit was awesome. I can't really say much about the match because it was a bit quick. And Del Rio trash talking Batista, and I was thinking like, oh, just you wait till the Rumble, you're going to get speared to hell. That's all I got for that one. And of course, January 20th, the animal returns.
Okay,
I'm
we're gonna
so
get James.
fucking-
We're gonna get James some medication, and we're gonna move on. We have a segment in the back with the Wyatt family, with Daniel Bryan arguing with his new Wyatt family teammates Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. He says, "I'm here to learn from you guys."
What was the first hurt?
Yes. I'm here to learn from you guys and learn how to become an animal, but you can also learn from me. I was actually a tag team champion. Bray Wyatt comes out, says next week you're going to team with me. Later on in the night, we find out that it's going to be Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan versus the Usos, which should be interesting. And then we have a non-title tag team match between the Rhodes Brothers and the Real Americans. Probably second best match of the night. Real Americans, sooner than later, are going to be the new tag team champions. Zeb Coulter out there with his racist signs like usual. This week's sign said, "The best defense is offense," which got We the People chants. Rhodes Brothers win, but just barely, and the Real Americans look fan-fucking-tastic in this match. James?
I have a comment regarding the Zeb Coulter racist sign. I was on my Facebook, as usual, when wrestling is on. And one of the wrestling pages I'm part of like about 100 odd wrestling pages, don't ask, I can't even keep count. And one of them said, Zeb Coulter is nothing but a racist pig and all that stuff. I was like, really? So a bunch of you want the Attitude Era. I commented this exactly. So a bunch of you want the Attitude Era to come back, and you want also Edgy TV in WWE in the PG era, yet you complain when you get it. You clearly didn't fucking watch a lick of an ounce of the Attitude Era. Do not complain about Edgy TV, and do not ever fucking ask for it again.
Nice.
The match between Rhodes Dynasty and Real Americans, absolutely fucking phenomenal. And of course, Real Americans as tag team champions, please. I love Rhodes Dynasty, but I'm sorry, we've got to have Goldust versus Cody Rhodes with Dusty Rhodes as guest referee at WrestleMania 30. Give the tag team championship to Real Americans. Fucking brilliant. That's all I got on that one.
All right. The other thing I will say from this match, and I've said it before when these two teams have gone at it. The one thing I do want to see if we take this out of the tag team realm is I'd love to see a one-on-one feud with Cody Rhodes and Antonio Cesaro. But Kara, thoughts on the match? Thoughts on the Real Americans?
Brilliant.
Okay, well, I think I have to, at least on the off thoughts I have to share with James. I'd honestly rather see the brothers go at it rather than there be tag team champions. This match was fucking phenomenal. I like the Rhodes brothers, but I think the people who really pulled their weight was the Real Americans. They pulled off a fan-fucking-tastic job, and that's what probably got me through this match. And I'm like, please, give them their fucking tag team titles. They're a legit tag team. They've been in the runs for a tag team championship for a long time now. If you're not going to give the Usos it or something, give them the tag team titles. No offense, but ever since Goldust and Cody Rhodes, came back and they got the titles, they haven't done jack shit with them. Really, it's what they do with every other champion. But I'd rather see it, going to waste on a good tag team rather than, something that just randomly formed. I'd rather see them feud, because we all know that they've had their back and forth, and we never had a real proper feud between them, and I want it, damn it! Give me it!
Okay. Wrestling dream matches for WrestleMania 30, and yes, I'm gonna say it,
Don't say it!
Cena versus Hogan and Goldberg and The Undertaker, please!
I will say this like I say it every time to you. If you want overrated matches, you are making a good idea, but no. Overrated matches are for people who like overrated, talentless, washed-up superstars.
Well, James is the Cena fan in the group. All right,
Goldberg so badly to face Taker. Cena versus Hogan could be a monster match if it's booked. I wouldn't say main event of WrestleMania 30.
No. Maybe the pre-show.
Move by move, so Hogan doesn't hurt himself.
We'll put Cena versus Hogan on the kickoff.
We have seen goddamn Hogan on TNA, and he did a shitty job there. Do you think he's going to do a good job there? No. Get out of here.
Hulkamania will live forever. Hulkamania is an immortal brother.
All right.
Best for business brother.
Okay.
Can you just move on, Spaz?
Okay. How about something more entertaining than Cena versus Hogan? DDP and Booker T doing DDP yoga in the back.
Damn.
And Ron Simmons saying damn. And then Kara, I'm giving this one to you because I don't even want to talk about it. The great rematch Damien Sandow versus the Great Khali 2 with Sergeant Slaughter as the referee.
Alright, you
Okay,
got this.
are you fucking kidding me? Okay, I'm always glad to see Sergeant Slaughter in the house, but come on! Sandow won that fucking match. Girl was set and let him have the goddamn win, okay? Seriously, was it that much of a chore to let him give the win? Seriously. And the Great Khali, you had him lose against the Great Khali? Come on! That man's got a poor-ass wrestling skills now. His knee's absolute shit. The guy can barely fucking walk. And everyone knows it. I've said this before. Retire him. Do something else with him. Don't put him in the fucking ring. Make him some, I don't know, commentator for India or something. Just don't put him in the goddamn ring. Put him out of his goddamn misery. And by the way, putting him in a match against other superstars who are better than him is stupid because Sandow doesn't deserve to be buried. Neither it is anyone else except for John Cena.
I think my reaction to this on Facebook was, oh my god, whose wife did Sandow fuck to get this? But let's look at this for a second. Okay, let's look at this honestly, alright? It's Sandow, who's a great talent. First of all, versus the Great Khali. Again. Second of all, they bring back Ranjin Singh for no reason. Third of all, Sergeant Slaughter is as the guest referee looked like an ice cream salesman. Fourth of all, the match ends in a bullshit fashion. Fifth of all, he then gets the Cobra Clutch from Sergeant Slaughter. Sixth of all I have to say is Sergeant Slaughter twerking.
And I just want to say this before James gets his 2 cents in. If Sandow ends up quitting because of this, fuck you, WWE. Fuck you.
No, I'm sorry. As soon as Sergeant Slaughter started twerking, fuck you, WWE. James, buddy, try to get a word in edgewise.
You're like topping us.
It went down the wrong throat. Oh my fucking god in hell. For those who have seen me rant on YouTube in wrestling or anything else, cover your ears. Okay. Oh, hold on, let me turn my radiator up a second, it's a bit hot. Yeah. That's better. Right. What the shit was going on in WWE's creative team in the back? Oh my fucking lord in hell. Holy shit. It is great, in my opinion, to see Ringe sing that, whatever his fucking name is, by the way. Maybe it's a sign that Khali will actually be put to good use, but I doubt that will fucking
Bullshit.
happen.
Bullshit.
Fuck yeah. Bullshit indeed. And the match was terrible. The match was excruciating. It was like watching Hugh Grant's horrible acting on steroids. It was
It's
that
like watching John
bad.
Cena over and over and over again.
Now that's going too far. So, the match was that bad. I know I say I will still watch the show regardless how shit the product is, but I cannot express how close I was going to chuck my TV remote through my 40-inch HD television. I got nothing else, except for, as like Alex would say, Deluxe Man, it's in the fucking book.
No, I'm pretty sure if Deluxe Man was in this conversation, he'd be like, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. What are you talking about? WWE's not that stupid. Of course that didn't happen.
Obviously, Michael
Hey,
Hayes took a night off or something because
Oh no.
either that or the creative team was high on some acid trip or something.
I'm telling you, they've been getting high with Rob Ford. Anyways, so we think after this friggin' booking abortion that we're going to get saved by Lesnar. This is what we think is going to happen, guys.
You thought it was going to happen. I knew it was going to be a disaster.
Lesnar comes out with Heyman, and they talk about going old school, and what old school means to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, according to Heyman, thinks that old school means when one man reigns supreme. They mention Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, and right now it's either Orton or Cena, and whoever it is after the Royal Rumble has to deal with Brock Lesnar. Then they start joking around about the Mark Henry beatdown, which was fine and wonderful and funny because Mark Henry, yeah, he's good, but watching him get destroyed is pretty impressive looking. Henry comes down, gets his ass owned again, gets his arm broken a la Triple H, which is fine. And then Brock Lesnar walks out looking all dominant and whatever, and he gets stopped in the aisle by the big fucking goofy Slow. And the Big Show makes Brock Lesnar his bitch. And the wrestling fan in me dies. Somebody talk about this.
Okay, I'm going to get this out of the way, and it's going to be really quick because personally I don't give a shit about the Big Show. Okay. So, I mean, the whole thing with Lesnar and Mark Henry was fine because we saw what happened last week. They had every right to bring something up like that. And the promo, oh my god. Paul Heyman is always a fucking genius at promos. My god. But, I think why am I thinking John Cena? Oh wait, maybe because the Big Show coming out during this segment was the equivalent to John Cena coming out in the introduction segment. It ruined everything. Everything. Okay, so last time we checked, Big Show was a nobody right now. They're not doing anything with him. And when they tried doing something with him, one, it didn't last long and he fucking sucked.
The last thing we saw the Big Show do was be a shitty tag team partner for Rey Mysterio. Why does he deserve to be in the same ring as Brock Lesnar? Just saying.
And I'm sorry, there's so many other people I would have rather seen come out. I don't know, like Roman Reigns, or, my god, I would rather see Mark Henry still come back out and just attack him. Not the Big Show.
Much as I don't like him, I would have rather seen. Much as I don't like him, I would have rather seen Ryback than the Big Show.
I wouldn't. Stop tripping.
Oh, wow.
Okay, it sounds like I've got to cover this now, as I'm the only one here that actually is a big fan of the Big Show.
Oh, big fan.
He's impressive. I'm not saying he's like the greatest of all time. I'm just saying for a guy of his size. Yeah, I am going to cover it. Fuck it. Right, for a guy of his size, he moves pretty freaking well in the ring. Still in his prime, in my opinion. Oh, I'll get to that in a second. The segment was just intense. My blood was fucking pumping like crazy. I was like hulking up, dreaming that it would either be Batista coming down or someone like The Undertaker to challenge Lesnar or whatever. Fantasy booking mode. Mark Pearson can still suck it. Wrestling 101.
Oh my god.
It's not too far from me. About 2 hours away. Fucker. The part with Big Show coming out, I'll say right now, I sent a text to my girlfriend, but she marked out, was like, oh my god, I love the Big Show. But anyways, getting back to the subject, that was just intense. Okay, we've seen it before. Great rivalry. Yeah, they were kind of doing this thing with Mark Henry, but I'm interested to see where this goes. Maybe a triple threat. Maybe
I
the
hope
dream
not.
match of WrestleMania 30 that I've been begging for would be Big Show versus Mark Henry. Reignite the feud of, say, Big Show turning on Mark Henry or Mark Henry turning on Big Show, whatever. There's a bunch of ways you could do with this segment.
But James,
You're
if you
saying-
look at my point is you've got so many of the younger guys, and I'm sorry I keep using Roman Reigns as the prime example because he's the best example. You don't have Brock Lesnar there that often. If you're going to use him only once or twice or three times a year, use him in a way that's going to put new people over. The Big Show doesn't need something like, okay, yeah, the Big Show is going to be around. The Big Show is an attraction for the WWE. They're always going to find him something to do. I get that. He's not going anywhere. But if you have a tool like Brock Lesnar to use it to its fullest extent and use it for something new. Use it to help, you know, the people that are going to be here after the Big Show's gone, the people that are going to be here after Brock Lesnar's gone. Like,
But you gotta remember, Brock Lesnar also has a big ego too. I think, you know, a lot of the times when he shows up, it's against storyline, and there's always something off. And
okay, but if you're Brock Lesnar, and you're going to sit there, if you're Brock Lesnar and you're going to have a big ego, would you rather not go up against somebody like Roman Reigns, who's hot as shit right now in the WWE, or the Big Show in a rivalry that nobody will give a shit about except maybe James?
Yeah, James.
James is going to be like the only guy in the audience holding up a Big Show versus Brock Lesnar flag.
If it's good, then I don't see a problem. But I can understand the hatred coming from everybody.
I just think it could be used so much better. It would be like Jericho coming back the next time Jericho comes back and putting over John Cena. It would be a waste.
I do agree. Don't mention that in front of Kara, or unless it's too late. Anyways,
No, but I'm saying, like, next time they bring Jericho back, would you rather see him put over somebody like Damien Sandow? Would you rather see him come back and try one more time to put over Dolph Ziggler? Or would you rather see him job to fucking Orton or Cena?
And see, this is like, I agree with you, Spaz, because the thing is, when you have part-time wrestlers like, you know, Jericho, like Lesnar, the fucking Rock, who can kiss my ass, I think it's like, you can pair them and have some feud against someone that already had a feud with about 1,000 times, or you can put them with some of the younger superstars and give them the proper push like they should. It's not always about keeping the older people in their prime, because you have to pass the torch. You have to give someone else their prime, not just like step yourself back into the spotlight and have the main feud. That's the tension that deserves to be on the younger superstars.
Here's one for you. Okay? I know not everybody's a fan of Big E Langston. Have Big E Langston, even if he doesn't win, have him go in the ring toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar. Even if he loses, it would make him look like gold.
I agree.
Alright. Anyways, enough of that. Okay, and speaking of wastes of time, we have Alicia Fox and Oksana versus the Bellas. Brie Bella falls on her face and the heels win. Does anybody care?
Nope.
I will say Brie Bella's getting better and Nikki Bella's getting worse, and the other two are jobbers.
Okay, I'm not going to play nice here. Again, I bring out people need to be cautious, because I'm going to say a lot of shit that I'm not going to regret. This is what I think about
What's
the
that
Bellas.
wrestling, Jesus?
The Bellas, I like to call them the Bella Slut. There's Bella Slut 1 and there's Bella Slut 2. One of them fucks John Cena, who, like her counterpart, can't wrestle. The other one is actually dating someone with talent, but yet she can't wrestle.
Prove that Cena can wrestle. Carry on.
Hey, I'm just speaking my mind, so you can get back off. Ah! But honestly, the Divas division is shit, and having the Bellas win it? Are you kidding me? I know, like, AJ is still this kind of big person, but they're fucking pushing the Bellas more than their own Divas champion. Come on, the Bellas don't deserve that much attention. Seriously, one gets a fucking boo job and she gets all the attention in the world, and then it shifts over to the other. They're seriously getting attention because of who they're fucking. That's why.
I think it's funny that the one that's dating the boob is the one that got the boob job. I'm just putting it out there. Anyways, the match was nothing, and like I say, Brie fell on her own face, and that's why the heels won. Something that made me smile, I don't care. 3MB versus the returning Rikishi and Too Cool.
That was hilarious, that promo for 3MB. That cracked me up so hard.
I'm sorry, whether it's now, whether it's 10 years ago, whether it's 10 years from now, people getting squashed by Rikishi will always be funny.
No matter what Rikishi does or who he squashes, I'm gonna love Rikishi no matter fucking what.
The only thing that I would have liked to have seen here when they did the dancing at the end, I would have liked to see the Usos come out and join them and have all 5 of them dance. I think that could have been a cool moment that they missed out on. Other than that, I thought it was great.
Brian, like, where's the Usos?
Brian Christopher's not looking that great, I will admit, but friggin' Scott Taylor is still in pretty damn good shape, and he can still pull off the worm, which is awesome. Michael Cole called them the Hip Hop Twins because he's an idiot. And that's about all we've got. We have all the legends come back out onto the stage to get acknowledged and cheered by the fans. And I think it's funny that with all the legends you had, the $1 Million Man, Ric Flair, Piper, Arn Anderson, and they all came out to the Godfather's music. And you know what? This was pretty cool, I think, because they don't always do this. Like, they have shows like this where they have all the legends come out, and they do, like, little comedy things here and there, but they never really give them a chance to, like, all come out together and be appreciated. And I thought this was really great. But
considering they didn't do it last year, I mean, it's good.
No, I mean it's really good, but I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Bad news.
James, talk about your boy.
My hometown boy. Right, granted, I'm from Portsmouth, but I live in Manchester, and Wade Barrett is from Preston, but he lived in Manchester. My hometown boy. Bad news, Barrett. I have some bad news. You all sound constipated. And I can't remember the rest of that fucking promo.
I don't even think it matters, because when he gives the bad news, it's never anything huge. It's just like, you all suck, and you're still gonna suck tomorrow, or something like that. But it's just when he comes out there with the big fucking arrogant smile on his face, and he's like,
a bad news Barrett gimmick.
I think it's fantastic. I think it is the coolest thing he's done yet.
About the haters can fucking suck it, complaining about that Wade Barrett has been given a shit gimmick. No, this is doing fucking wonders for him.
Because when he does get back in the ring, somebody's just going to be waiting for him to get his ass kicked.
Fucking love this and laugh their heads off and get behind him a lot more. This is a sign of things to come for Wade Barrett, as in him getting a push finally.
You know what I could see them doing, honestly? Because this is so goofy right now.
Pearson, you can go drop dead. That's all I got.
Because he's been so goofy with this.
Bad news for you, Mark Pearson. You suck.
I could see him actually, like, fighting somebody like Cena with this. Like, okay, they do all the Total Divas crap and whatever, and Nikki's with John Cena. If they ever actually do a wedding on Raw with, like, Nikki Bella and John Cena, I can see, like, the priest is like, does anybody see any reason why these two should not be wed? No, he shouldn't be the priest, but it gets to that part in the wedding where it's like, does anybody have any reason why these two should not be married, blah, 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 blah. All you hear from the background is, comes out with some photos or whatever, he's like, John Cena, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Yes. Oh my god, I would, like, be in fucking love.
So that was good. And then we had Mean Gene Okerlund announce the New Age Outlaws again. The New Age Outlaws come to the ring to announce CM Punk for his match against Roman Reigns, and they're going to stay in his corner while he fights Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns has the Shield. They're going to even the score, da-da-da-da-da. I think the teaming of the New Age Outlaws and CM Punk was fucking phenomenal. There was no way with it being an old school Raw that they could completely like bring DX back together, because Triple H is heel right now. It wouldn't have made any sense. But I mean, CM Punk attitude wise, and see the word I used there, it made perfect sense for him to be teamed up with the New Age Outlaws, especially against a team like the Shield. The match was fucking phenomenal. Punk sold his ribs the whole match. He was a ragdoll for Roman Reigns. With the Shield's help, the spear actually does get the win for Roman Reigns, which is huge for him. Yes, James, fear the spear. We get it. And then at the very end, we have not only the New Age Outlaws and CM Punk, but Jake the fucking Snake Roberts taking out the Shield, and that's how we end the show. Thoughts, James?
I am covering this last part. I'm covering the main event for the obvious reason. Okay, we had the D-Generation X and Punk versus Reigns, and holy nerdgasm, the match was freaking nerdgasmly, awesomely, tastically, fucking outrageously phenomenal.
Was it good, James?
Pay-per-view quality, this match, and my God, the spear reigns supreme. Pun fucking intended. Haters can suck it. Mark Pearson, just fuck off the face of the YWC, please. Just go away. Dream match. Reigns versus Goldberg, WrestleMania 30. Spear versus spear. And this brings me on to my next subject, besides the fact that I marked out like fucking crazy for Jake the Snake Roberts. Just saying. There is an article here of a video that Goldberg saying he wants to wrestle The Undertaker at WrestleMania 30. Please just book it, WWE, and I will die happy and cry. That's all I've got. Raw tonight was just fucking nerdgasmly awesome. Fucking fresh.
Speak your mind there, James. Jesus Christ.
Somebody get James a towel. Kara.
Like a dildo, a nun in a dildo factory here. I bet.
Okay, on that note, I'm just going to ignore everything you just said and talk about the match at hand. Okay. So, for the first time in 3 weeks, we actually get a good main event. Congratulations, you weren't tripping balls for this match. Okay. Okay, so this match itself was a good match, even without the New Age Outlaws there, and that just fucking added to the holy fuck, this is an awesome match shit. You know, I'm actually, out of like the whole group of the Shield, I'm probably more of a Reigns fan than anyone, so I'm just really glad to see him.
Yes.
I'm just really glad to see him speared. I mean, it's kind of sad that CM Punk won, but definitely I see within this that with Reigns getting that, because I know that this year they're giving him the big push. There's obviously going to be some dissension and something going on, and I think Reigns should go on this own, and this will be one of the things that lead the way to that path. And just the whole ending, you bring back Jake the Snake Roberts, and I'm like, holy shit, I was marking out like crazy. Especially when I saw that snake, I'm like, yes, we're about the snake. The only thing that would have made this more perfect was a boogeyman coming out or something.
I do want to point out that the words "whip out that snake" just came out of Kara's mouth. Just saying. But I will say, guys, somewhere along the way, not at a pay-per-view, but somewhere along the way before we hit WrestleMania, do we think we see Rollins and Ambrose versus Reigns and Punk?
Yes.
Because that's what I want to see coming out of this Raw. I want to see Reigns eventually turn face, which he's going to do, apparently. I'm thinking, like, face Reigns versus heel Batista at WrestleMania could be cool. But somewhere along the way, Reigns, once he turns face, will team up with Punk, at least for one night, at least for one Raw. Whatever. I love this Raw. Not a bad way to kick off 2014. It was a risky thing for WWE to do a theme show for the first Raw of the year, but I think they pulled it off pretty well. I've got nothing else to say. I want to say thank you to James and Kara for joining me tonight. Hopefully they will be back. James, tell us where we can find you.
Well, before I plug out my channel and whatnot, the only few things that would have made me just jump through the ceiling in my flat whilst watching this episode of Raw was a Hogan return to have Cena, which would have made me nerdgasm like shit crazy. Ultimate Warrior having a stare down with a returning Sheamus
Oh
for
my
WrestleMania
God.
30, and of course the ultimate one, the mother of all fucking dream matches. Sorry, Sting, but it's Goldberg versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 30 for me. That would have been making me cry my fucking eyes out. And anyways, go check out my channel, Fear the Spear 1990, where the House of Spears is always reigning supreme and spearing through the barricades. Stay tuned to my channel because there will be more videos coming soon. And of course, training videos of me training with Future Shock Wrestling. The Spear is coming. The Spear
Okay, James. James, I love you, but my fucking God.
That's all I've got.
James, I fucking love you, but my God, if you say another word of Hulk Hogan or anything WrestleMania related revolving Cena, Hulk Hogan, or Goldberg, I'm gonna fucking shoot you, okay? Shut up.
Okay, James is done for the evening. Kara, tell people where to find you, hon.
Okay, well, since my YouTube channel is extremely inactive, I would like to say I actually still am in the YWC. I am just on a separate channel. The channel that we're on is CXR 420. It just has something to do with the wrestling group I'm in. And we air like 30 minutes after SmackDown. And it's called the main event. We talk about freaking... What? Hold on a second. We talk about Raw, we talk about main event, we talk about TNA, which, quite frankly, I'm on hiatus from. Fuck you, TNA. I haven't even watched it in a month.
I like TNA.
TNA's garbage.
We also talk about SmackDown and ROH, and I get to bitch a lot, so I love it. I love it.
Alright, guys, you know the drill.
I'm loving it.
You guys know where to find me, or you wouldn't be listening to all of our lovely voices right now. So, subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all of our entertaining conversations going. Don't be a stranger. We will talk to each and every single last one of you later. But for right now, myself, Fear the Spear, and Emo Kitty Cat will talk to each and every last one of you later, and we're tagging out. Bye.